Okay, Neil, we can see you coming down.
We did it! We did it! Hey guys, it's Iron Germ, and man, I'm so happy Fly Me to the Moon came out. I've regained all of my patriotism that was once lost, and now I'm proud to be American again. At least until the election happens.
Look.
Ever since I first saw the trailers for Fly Me to the Moon, I was always interested in it. And after seeing it, I can't say I liked it, but it's not something I'm passionate about. I think most people are going to feel the same way I do too. Most will like it, but think it could have been better, or at least expected more coming in. Before I say why, let's go over what it has to offer. To summarize the plot, it's set in the late 1960s, the time when NASA was getting prepared to go to the moon in order to beat Russia in the space race. I have to make this clear before talking about the story. The movie is loosely based on real history, meaning some of the characters and events in this movie aren't real, they're fictional. It's just simply set in a real time period. It's like Assassin's Creed in a way. While NASA's working on their stuff, a government agent hires this amazing marketing woman named Kelly Jones, played by Scarlett Johansson, to advertise Apollo 11 to the public. She's the perfect person for the job because she always gets things her way, no matter what. If there's a problem ahead of her, she'll find her way around it. As she goes to NASA, she meets up with one of the higher ups at the company, also the love interest, Cole Davis, played by Channing Tatum. They always had beef during this movie. Whenever Kelly couldn't get to interact with the people working at NASA, she would hire actors to replace them and put them on live TV to do interviews, which pissed Cole off. Not only that, but Kelly was able to get a ton of marketing deals with random companies to advertise Apollo 11, like Kellogg's cereal and Omega watches. Ironically, the movie really does feel like an Omega ad at times. As Kelly and Cole keep fighting or whatever, they start to have a loving relationship, and basically for the rest of the movie we see it develop. Later on, the plot gets crazier because it turns out the same guy who hired Kelly wants to fake the moon landing because he doesn't have the confidence for the real deal. As you can see, there's a lot of things going on in this movie, and trust me, all the information I give you is seen in the trailers. It's essentially a rom-com during Apollo 11 with meta jokes in it. Let's glaze and hate this movie already! Holy bull! I have to admit, I didn't know what I was getting into after watching a little bit of the trailer, so I was kind of surprised at how comical it was. And honestly, I wish they made it more clear, because the trailers gave vibes that this story actually happened, and it seemed to be like a business drama like Air from last year. The marketing could lead dumb people into believing there's actually real stuff being depicted in this movie. It misled me! Right away, I have to admit I like the way this movie shows off NASA as a company. Watching a movie usually feels like a tour at times, seeing everyone work at the station with these huge rockets, though it didn't show the more problematic things like Hidden Figures did, but Racist Sheldon was kind of a stretch.
My numbers are spot on.
I will double check them, sir. No problem.
Another positive is that the movie was pretty fun at times. Seeing the crazy stuff happen with the fake actors, the fake moon landing set disasters, and Kelly Jones convincing people to do whatever she wants, or just seeing her force her way into things in general, it's all entertaining. Even the NASA crew themselves were likable, and it really makes me wonder, were the people behind Apollo 11 really that young? Like, were the oldest people there 40-ish? I could read a book to find out, but I'd rather not. Not every joke hits in this movie, but the tone alone makes it enjoyable, even though it could feel like an SNL skit at times. Another positive that others probably wouldn't put out there is it gives similar vibes to the 10 out of 10 movie Singing in the Rain. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Fly Me to the Moon was inspired by it. I sense the story, tone, and characters being similar to that amazing movie. While it's definitely not close to that movie in quality, I still appreciate the influence. if it's really there. Now let's get to the negatives. Right away, the biggest problem with this movie is the pacing. It's a 2-hour movie, and I was able to feel every single minute. I don't know how it could be fixed, but what the hell? This pacing should have been addressed. How does the X-Men movie from the year 2000 have a shorter runtime than this does? X-Men movie franchise Iron Prep review coming soon. Berserker Barrage! Another problem with this movie was the weird transition in tone by the end of it. It really went from the silliest SNL sketch to the most serious drama you've ever seen. Okay, probably not that crazy, but still, you can't convince me that this was a natural transition in tone. This summarizes what the transition felt like to me.
Romance my game, Sam. Okay, cut the cards. Not that way you turn the loot.
You know, kid, you don't look so good. What's this? A joint? So what's the big attraction? Everyone's got problems, kid. Even us rabbits.
Do you know how much I make a year? I mean, even if I told you, you wouldn't believe it. Do you know what would happen if I suddenly decided to stop going into work?
It's also important to mention, not every joke hits. My expression during this movie says everything. I was just taking everything in, writing some notes here and there for this review, and for a rom-com, it doesn't get a tip from me for the funny that's supposed to come with a com. And the final issue I have with this movie might be in most romantic comedies, but I want to mention it. It was predictable. It's hilarious how it tries to make stakes by trying to worry the audience about whether the moon landing was real or successful. It happened already! We all saw it! And the way it tries to put the relationship on high stakes is so generic. It does it, if you do this certain thing that makes me mad, I don't want to see your face again. What? Oh no! I hope he sees her face again! It seems we have seen this movie a million times before. This movie had a unique idea for the concept, but the stakes were completely borrowed off of like some other romantic movies. Like, that's just so predictable. Everyone knew what was gonna happen. That's a foul. Overall, this movie was a fun time for a bit, but it dragged on for too long, and it had a weird change of tone, and it was easy to predict what would happen by the end. It's probably a good date movie, but besides that, it didn't shoot for the stars. It was decent and enjoyable at best. I would give it a 7.5 out of 10, but since I can't do that with stars, I'll just give it a 7. That's 3.5 stars, a Gene Siskel thumbs up, and a Roger Ebert thumbs down. Please look forward to my upcoming videos. I'm going to prepare for Twisters, and I get to see a Q&A session live at my favorite theater. Another big project I'm doing is I'm going to talk about the X-Men movie soon in order to prepare for Deadpool and Wolverine, so subscribe if you're interested. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.